Welcome to this look at a new mod map to Farming Simulator 25 with me, MrSealyp. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here on Mecklenburg Lake District by Holden, 489.72 megabytes download. There are 13 required mods which download automatically. There are some additional crops, contracts are available. This is the same but different, which is an interesting one. New and improved probably is the best way of putting this. I remember doing the map tour on this, but this has changed quite a bit in the assets and stuff that's on here. Whoa, wasn't expecting him. It seems a little bit grittier, a little bit more, I guess, realistic. Is that the best way of putting it? The map looks like this. Now, we're on New Farmer, and now I've had a couple of issues, and I'll cut to that in a minute when we do the talk about slot count. Yeah, it's not one. We come across to Farmland. So on New Farmer, we start with the main farm, which is here, plot 57. That's 390 grand. We do start with field 15, field 11. We do start, was it just those two fields? I think it might have been those two. All these bits that are green that are lit up, that is plot 42. Plot 42 is 0. And that takes in all of the sort of the inserts, extra bits and bobs here and there. Now we do have some extra plots we need to purchase, which we'll do as we go around this time. What's curious about this one, and again, unusual for a map tour, as I said, contracts are available. When we come to production chains, usually on a map, it will tell you if you own anything, then anything that's available on the map will be showing. Now, normally the biogas plant will be showing on there, but it's not on this one. There is a biogas plant, but it's not showing here. And it's pretty much only the dairy. Everything else is all sell points and things, which gives you some scope to add things in if you want to. So we have got a dairy available. That's on there. We'll talk about crops, actually, while we're here. Prices is a good indication, an indicator. If we come down to here, we have got rye, spelt and triticale. Rye, spelt and triticale are harvestable crops, put in the ground using a seeder. All good to go, but we do have additional crop types on top of that, which include here, if we come down, we have got field grass, green rye, humus active, mustard, rye we already talked about, silage maize and vetch rye. Now most of those are cover crops, catch crops however you refer to them, or they are silageable crops, so they can be done with a forage harvester as silage. The only one that is put in the ground using a planter is silage maize. That usually, silage maize will give you a higher yield than a regular corn. So if you do corn and you do a silage harvest on corn, that's fine, you normally get a pretty good yield for silage work, but silage maize normally gives you a higher yield because it's specifically designed for that. So most of those crop types, and often, again I can't say definitely, but often field grass added in as a crop, again, is used for silage work and stuff. Field grass normally has a higher yield than a standard grass. That's, generally speaking, how that works. So 3 of them are harvestable and sellable. The others are catch crops or silage type crops. Now we come across the road here to the start farm. Now the start farm is different to the start farm on the previous version of this, if I recall correctly, which I don't always, but sometimes I do. I just like the detail on it. It's very cool. We'll talk about slot count. We'll talk about build mode as well. So slot count is 1,734 on New Farmer, which seems quite high. I suppose it is quite high. There's a lot of detail on the map. Now, I went on to Farm Manager and start from scratch, as I always do, in its base configuration. So if you just click on, without adjusting any settings, you just click on Farm Manager Start from Scratch, and then come on to see, do you start with equipment and machinery, buildings, all that kind of stuff, what do you start with, what don't you start with, and that informs my slot count to tell you. Now obviously you can change those settings and you can have Start Farm on, which is fine. I'm going to cut to a clip now. I could not get Farm Manager and Start from Scratch to load in its base configuration. I had to put Start Farm on for it to work. Let me just cut and I'll show you. On New Farmer, this is what you normally start with Start Farm on, Guided Intro Tour on, which I normally turn off. But if I come across to Farm Manager, that's how it's set standard. That's how it's set standard on Start from Scratch. So Farm Manager, no Start Farm, no Guided Tour. If I press Continue, turn all those off, then do that. They're the required mods it needs. Do that and press Start. It won't load, and it won't load on Start from Scratch either. So what I might do is come back out
Try it with the start farm. The problem with that is I won't be able to give you a slot count based upon what the base version is, because obviously if it gives you the start farm, I'm assuming it's going to give you all the equipment and machinery. But yeah, I don't know. It's really weird. And I thought, oh, maybe something's crashed on the game. So I tried to load Zalonka. Zalonka loaded up, no problem at all. And this just sits saying loading vehicles, and nothing happens. So yeah, nothing changed. And people will say, oh, you should have waited longer. Off camera, I waited 5 minutes, 10 minutes, nothing changed. Usually by now a map's loaded up. So I'll give it a go with start vehicles, or with start farm. So yeah, should I say with start farm, and see if it will load up with that. Maybe that's what's causing it to trip out. Yeah, bit strange. Haven't encountered that on a map tour before. There we go. Okay, it's loaded. So let's just double check this. 1734, which is what it was on New Farmer. So I guess because we're starting with, yeah, we start with the start farm, because I've clicked that on as an option. Then we got with the equipment and machinery. Curious. So there you go, a curiosity. So you may need to put start farm on, which for some people, if they don't want that, that's fine. You can come on here and you can just remove all the equipment and machinery if you want to. I haven't tried removing all the buildings and stuff around the map. You can probably get the slot count down lower, but 1734 seems to be what I've got on the base configuration. If we go into build mode, we've got under silos and paint, I think, with the only two over and above the 13 required mods. So as you can see there, we've got Siloplate, we've got Salvage Halls pack, we've got Pig Farm Buildings pack, we've also, I mean, there's a whole load of stuff. Like I say, there's 13 required mods. The only one over and above there is Mecklenburg Lake District mod, 5 million litre liquid manure tank, and there's a few of those dotted around. And if we come down to our decoration and painting, we've got quite a few additional cobblestone paint textures, road surface type things added in by the map maker. So yeah, those added in there. That's the only thing is I could find and come across. So let's go into our main start farm, open these up. There is no workshop trigger and no sleep trigger, actually, worth pointing out. We'll grab that in a little while. If we come across here, there we go. Fertilizer spreader, plough, seeder. Around the sides here, fuel tank, 25,000 litre. It is empty, but it can be filled. NL16 22 2000, 2 million litre, standard crop type. That's not a multi-fruit silo. Just there. Around the back here, required mods. But we have got liquid fertilizer and herbicide tank. I might have got it the wrong way around. It might be herbicide first. There you go, herbicide, 150,000 litres, and liquid fertilizer, 150,000 litres, which can be refilled. I think each of the farms has those. So this is more of a kind of contractor's yard, really. There's no animal pens at this one. Cultivator, harvester, header and header trailer. Down the side here, couple of trailers. Jet whoosh just here on our jet washing platform, so the water drains away, and that is the start farm. Now across the road from here we've got plot 69 just there, which is 38,688. Let's buy that. That gives us another gives us a liquid manure tank. The liquid manure tanks on here are fillable, so you don't have to have animal pens. You can put excess or whatever you want in, or you can just fill them up, because there's another one. Actually, I'll show you on the map. If we come all the way up to plot 70 up here, plot 70 is the same, 26,136. That's another one of the tanks we're just about to see. So you can fill that up with slurry, and then you can then have it up there if you're going to do slurry work. If you're not going to do slurry work, then it's not necessarily relevant, but it's on there. All those other numbers on the field, you might be looking thinking that's weird, that can't be right, something's wrong. They're all wind turbines.
So you can purchase any of those, and we'll see them when we drive up past there. But all of these numbers here, apart from the field numbers, that one is the field number, that one there is the field number, but all these ones, as you can see, 1,104, 1,056, 1,152, these are all wind turbines. So you can purchase the wind turbines if you want to, and there's a couple more down here as well which you can purchase. Field prices, I meant to talk about field prices, are probably what you'd expect for the size, really. We've got some smaller ones, we've got some mid-sized ones, large one, this one down here is over, was it 2 million? 2,210,000. So you kind of work your way up, you know. There's a few. We've got a couple of little forest plots there, forest plot at the top here, and we had another one just down here. So there's a bit of forestry, oh, in there as well, sorry. There's a little bit of forestry to do if you want to do some forestry. So we come across the way there, there's our liquid fertilizer tank just here. And like I said, that is mimicked or copied up the top on plot 70. That barn, once you purchase this land, is available for use. We are going to come back around here actually, so let's be doing this on foot very quickly. Down this little side turning is Walter. He's in his front garden waiting for a chat. He's just there. So we do have the NPCs on the map. If we come around the back of here, I do like these signs. I was thinking about maybe using one of those as the thumbnail. You'll know already. I haven't made my thumbnail yet at the time of recording this, but you'll already know if you've clicked on this. And then Ben is just over here, and this is another part. I've been going around thinking, this is, I've talked about this on map tours before as well. I like the roads, the fact you've got this, it doesn't look brand new, it looks a little bit worn and weathered, you've got patched areas, it just adds to that immersion on the map. I like that. If we come around the sides here, little track, there's little details like this, the details, look, the seahorses on the side of the bridge and stuff, it's just really picturesque. Ben is here, just stood by the bridge waiting to, I don't know what he's waiting for. Maybe he's been doing some fishing, who knows, maybe he's just waiting for the Highlands fishing pack so we can do a bit of fishing. Anyway, back to the tractor and let's head out and get around the rest of the map. Now, when I did the first map tour on this Mecklenburg Lake District, I remember people messaging me saying, that's not the Lake District, it's nothing like it. No, it's not the Lake District in the UK, this is German. So I'll just read out the thing. Welcome to the Mecklenburg Lake District, agriculture in the heart of northeast Germany. So in northeast Germany there is an area of lakes, etc., referred to as Mecklenburg Lake District. So I'm sure, because it made me smile, because I was like, well, no, I know it's not the Lake District, but it is a Lake District. So heading down the road here, I say it just has a very, I don't know, it has a nice natural feel to it. I like it. I've been saying that a lot lately, that seems to be the phrase. I was saying that on the mod review a lot yesterday. Anyway, so coming up on our left, as we turn in just here, we've got a point that says Sail. And there are two of these on the map, and that's that silo over the back there. Sail is a lime station. So if you check on your prices menu, the only thing you can get from the Sail point there is lime. So that's the lime station. And then we've got Sarrow Ag, and Sarrow Ag is the sell point just here. We've got two main sell points. There's a few other little ones dotted around for various different things. There you go, that's Sarrow Ag. And then we come across the way and we've got the biogas plant. Now, the biogas plant, we've got to come all around behind it. Just look at the field. Yeah, we have. We come right the way around the back of it. Now you have to buy the land to get the things to come up. It's 1.125 or 1.2 million. You get the land and you get the biogas plant. This one, in addition to regular biogas plant stuff, takes potatoes as well. So if we swing around here, let's say it's like little bits of weeds and grass growing through the cracks in the concrete slabs, and it's just nicely done, you know. There's little deer feeding stations and little bits of barrier, and it just, yeah, little things that make a difference. Now the good thing with this, often you can't do it. Once you buy a plot of land, if there's stuff on it, it won't let you sell it unless you sell all the buildings. It'll let me do this because obviously I put some extra money in. I did set it on 1 million, but actually didn't turn out to be enough because we got the other properties are quite expensive to purchase. So if I buy this one to show you, I should be able to sell it back, which will leave us fine. But nice big open area here. Once you purchase land, you can obviously then put other stuff on here as well. But our markers triggers aren't showing, so we are on plot 56 just here. 1.251. So there you go. Buy that, and that gives us our markers. and I'll show you just here. 400 kilowatt. Why is that not coming up? Oh, there you go. So yeah, manure, potato, silage, slurry and sugar beet cut can all be purchased. Purchased, not purchased, brought here. There we go. Awesome stuff. Now what I'm going to do is come back to the map and we'll sell that plot because I need the money. Let's sell that. There we go. Well, I say, which is unusual. And the buildings don't all disappear, they'll stay there. What I'm going to do actually while we're doing this, I'm going to buy plot 58 there for 434,016. Let's buy that. And then we're going to buy plot 59 up there, 533,376. Now that was, if I recall correctly, that was the start farm on the previous version of the map. And then we've got one final plot we're going to purchase, and that's plot 60 here. And we'll get to that in a little while. So let's continue. I'm going to whiz up the side and you'll be able to see all the excuse me, the wind turbines that are purchasable. I haven't tried buying one because I haven't got enough money left now actually, to see whether you can remove them, because not everyone's a big fan of wind turbines. They, you know, I don't know why. I quite like them. I find them quite graceful. A lot of people think they're an eyesore, but I've said this many times before. I've noticed that a lot more on maps, which I quite like. These little divots with water in, little puddles, and it's quite cool. You get little bumps in the road with puddles. That's becoming more and more of a thing, and I like that on maps. Yeah, I've always said, you know, if you're going to be generating power, and people would argue, yeah, but they're expensive to build. You know, I'm getting into a whole thing. I'm not ranting, but you know, would you rather have a power station sat there, or some of those? I don't know. Anyway. So yeah, tons of wind turbines. Let's head up the map. We'll do a little bit. We'll get to have a bit of a look at the scenery as we go around. And the base imprint of those is very small as well. So you can put them in fields of sheep, and you know, or you put them down and you put your sheep in the field around them, and they don't really cause too much hassle. So. It's nice, big, open. You can get away with some big machinery on this map if you wanted to. There's not a lot of fenced in areas, which lends itself to that as well. And it's sweeping. It's not... What's the difference between sweeping terrain and undulating terrain? I think, to me, there's a sort of, you know, you've got flat terrain, sweeping terrain, you've got, you know, a bit of a sweep here and there. Undulating, I think, is more hilly, and then you move on to hilly, then mountainous. Those are my categories. So waterway just along here, I don't know. Just, and this is a couple of forest areas. And around the back of this forest area is Noah. And there's not actually a sawmill on the map either, actually. But you might want to put one here if, you know, if you're going to do a bit of forestry. If you're not going to do any forestry, that's absolutely fine as well. It's that difference between a map that has everything on it so you can do everything, but then people say, yeah, but I don't want to do this, this and this, and that's eating into, you know, that's megabyte download and stuff that I don't necessarily want. That's absolutely fine, I get that. There's Noah just there. But this kind of gives you the option to go the other way. So it depends what you prefer. Some people like to have a map that's good to go. Some people like to have a map that's completely empty and you can do what you want on it. I find that terrifying. I like a map that gives you a bit of both. You've got some scope to change it, alter it, landscape, pioneer, whatever you want. But you can just farm it straight off the bat if you want to. So we're just going to bounce along this cobbled bit just here. And we should have... Oh, across there. David is just around here. There you go. David stood in his garden for a chat. If you want to have a chat to David, then we go along the road to plot 58. So plot 58 is pig farm that we purchased just now. Actually, I think what I'm going to do, let's go there. About. I do like this as well. You've got the old tractor tyre wash, so if there's any, you're not bringing anything into the farm and you're not taking anything from the farm out, it kind of disinfects the tyres and stuff. And yeah, anyway, that was around sort of mad cow and TB and all those kind of things. But yeah, when you drive your tractor through, it splashes away and it's all very wonderful. Slurry tank just here, which matches up to our pig pen. The pig pen holds 500 pigs. Yes, 500 pigs. Fuel tank just over there, another 25,000 litre. And this is bale and pallet. You see the train going across there? The train does run down the map. I'm sure the previous version of this had like a little train station shelter thing along the track. This one doesn't. This is decorative. You can't stop the train or load it up. It just goes past. Now this is bale and pallet storage, and this is 1,500 items can be stored in here. But that's all in here, 1,500 items. And then down the way there we got slurry point for was that slurry point, manure point for the pigs. And shed and building space just over there. Round behind the buildings we have got the same as the other farm, and the last farm will have it as well. We've got the storage tanks for liquid fertiliser and herbicide, 150,000 litres of each in there. But again, there's a bit of space knocking about, so if you want to add some things in, you can. If you don't want to use, actually, no, it's probably now's not a bad time to try it. Let's go to that. Can I remove them? Can I remove all of them? I didn't try at the main farm. You can, okay. Sometimes it lets you, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes you get charged if map makers don't want you removing items on the map. But again, you have to be careful when you're doing stuff like this, because not all of the decorative items can be removed. What does that say? That's interesting. That's come up red. Oh, there you go. Do you want to sell decoration? Yes. There you go. So the decoration around has gone as well. That's not always available on maps, but it's interesting to see you can do it on here. So you can remove stuff if you want to. But again, my advice, as always, save your game first. I've shown you on here. That's not to say you'll be able to do it on each of them on each of the farms. I don't see any reason why you wouldn't be able to. But just be careful. Save your game first. That way, if it doesn't work the way you hoped it would, you can come back out the game and you've got your save game already there. Turn auto save off as well. I had someone message me the other day saying, I don't understand what you keep saying to save the game, but mine saves automatically. You need to turn auto save off to do that. I've always found with auto save on, if you start to do landscaping, it's always inevitable. You make a change on your map and you realise that's not quite what you wanted. It hasn't worked the way you thought it was going to, and as you're about to come out of the game, it auto saves, and then that saves there. You can't do anything with it, so turn auto save off. Water point just there. There's a couple of these on the map. And there are plenty of mods for water stations, fountains, pipes, whatever it might be, but there are a couple of water points on the map as well. And we come up here to plot 59, which I say I'm pretty sure on the previous version was the start farm. I'm sure the animal pens have been changed slightly as well. I'm sure this one had animal pens on it as well, more animal pens than this one has, I think. But again, nice bit of weathering and detail on here. We've got a farm gas station. So rather than a fuel tank, that's a buy point just there, so not refillable one. Bale and pallet storage, 1,500 items just there. Went past the silage clamps, but shed and storage space. Actually, I didn't check to see if this was a workshop or not, which I probably should have done. It's not showing on the map as a workshop. Oh, it is. There you go. Glad I checked that. So workshop just in there. Sometimes they show up on the map, sometimes they don't. Liquid fertiliser and herbicide storage, as we've had on the previous two, just here. And then around the back we've got a dialogue box for our cows, and our cow barn building is just here. And this does 200 cows. So our trigger is just there. Barn and building space for cows. Now, we come out of there. So you've got silage clamp there, and we've got two other ones through there. So plenty of space for silage work. I think it's this side. Well, I say this side. Like I say, all of it is new and improved. It does feel quite different. Because I could be misremembering. I've done so many map tours, but I'm sure in the previous version it wasn't as bushy and overgrown. And I thought there were some buildings and stuff here on the previous version. I also recall turning down there. And just by the sidings, I don't know if it's still there actually. Let's just whiz down there quickly. There was a little train station platform. It looks all a bit overgrown now. Looks like there's a little siding, but I don't know. No, it's not. Yeah, look. Like I say, so it's interesting that it has changed. Oh, maybe that's where it was in the previous version. But anyway, yeah, slightly different. back up and go around. Go around this side of the building. It's just nice countryside, really. So we just go a little bit further along. I have been looking out for, you know, when I do my map tours, I'm checking to see if there's plots of land with pastures, or because there's been no chickens or horses or sheep. Actually, I'm just thinking, what have we had? Cows and pigs, haven't we? Yeah. Now I'm doubting myself. We come to the map. What is often helpful is to go to growth or to crop types, because you can see the plots and you can see which ones are grass and which ones are not, and which ones might be pastures. And if we go to our land, that farmland, yeah, I'm pretty sure all of them, we bought that one there. So yeah, there aren't sheep or chickens on here, because I'm sure on, like I say, on the previous version, this being the main farm, I could have sworn there were some animal pens here, but again, I might have dreamt that. Onwards. I did stop, honest officer. So coming up next is plot 60. This is a cow pasture, and it will hold 86 animals. Just there. We're going to come back past there in a moment, and heading out now to the northeast of the map. Yeah, pretty much northeast. We have got the Big Farmers Kiosk and Market sell points. And again, there's a nice little bit of detail on this. I don't know if it's an asset put in by the map maker or whether it's a required mod. I think it might be an asset put in. But you've got the Big Farmers Kiosk out the front, and then you've got the Market sell point, which is behind it. But you've got the sell point, there you go, there's the Big Farmers Kiosk, nice. Then the market, but you've got all this bit round behind, which is all coned off, kind of gives the impression it's either being renovated or something's going on. I know, but I like that as well. It's a cool feature. It's all closed off, but the front bit is available for sell. That pipe there, as far as I'm aware, this is just a sell point, not a buy point as well. I did look in the prices menu just to double check. So yeah, Big Farmers Kiosk and Market. I was going to go down this, there's a little track that runs down the side, but actually brings me out too far down where I need to be. So we are going to go back along this route we just came along. It's not too far. I'm just very conscious of that car. I suddenly thought, I don't tend to stop. We're going to get there at the same time. Might be alright. We're okay. So if we turn right down here, on our left we've got a water point just there. Then on our left, round behind that building, is another lime station, but that is Washingarea Ag, so that's another sell point on the map, Washingarea. And then we come round here and we have got the main vehicle shop. So main vehicle shop at the front of the building, just here. This is the reset point for the map as well, so there's your main vehicle shop. Fuel gas station, gas station just there, and then around the back we have got the workshop at the back of the building just here. So main vehicle shop and workshop and reset point all here. And then take a bit of a drive from here. I think the lighting's nice, the colour palette works well, it's just, yeah, it's good. I'm looking for turning on the left just here. This is another one as I was driving on. I think there was a couple of potholes, and I suddenly stopped. I like it. I like that as a feature that we seem to be getting. Yeah, look on the right hand side there, little pothole with some water in. It's cool. So down to the bottom, bang a left, and we're now down in the north. No, we're not. Southeast, not the northeast. Southeast. We just did northeast. we are heading south, the southeast of the map. And the production that was showing in the thing, the dairy, we're going to be coming up on. Which is just here. There's those wind turbines I said about on the map that were down the bottom of the map that can also be purchased. Dairy is just there. And you know what I didn't do? Just going to double check this. If I buy the dairy, do you get the land? I don't always buy everything when I'm on a map. There aren't that many productions, so let's check the map. You don't. Okay. Doesn't hurt to double check these things. There you go. That's the dairy. Next up, along our route, we've got the animal dealer. So we've got animal dealer, we've got Katie, we've got bale sale point, and we've also got manure and liquid manure purchase points. So animal dealer point is just there, with Katie just there. Bale sale, you can see the bales just there, bale sale point. Around the back there, liquid manure purchase point and manure purchase point down the front here. And then we come out around here to the last 2 points on the map. Well, not the last 2 points, the last 2 points we're going to look at. And these are 2 sell points. These aren't productions, these are sell points. We've got the sugar factory and the potato factory. So in this facility just here, like I said, it's all this. You know, that just adds so much. All these little details. Anyway, so sugar factory sell point just there, potato factory sell point just there. Like I said, not productions, these are just sell points. And we come back up to the map and we are now here. So we started at the main farm here, took in that stuff there, we came down there, sell points, biogas plant, up this road here past all the wind turbines, and we did a loop round there past Noah, down there to where David was, up the road to, hang on. Oh, I took all the buildings out, didn't I? The pig farm just there. Water point, farm up here. Crossed over the railway, had a quick jaunt there. Then we went out there past the pasture, up to the 2 sell points there, down into the village. Then we took this turning down here, and we've done this bit here. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is Mecklenburg Lake District by Holden. I hope you have found this all useful and informative in some way, shape or form. If you have, please give us a like. If you don't subscribe yet, please do. If you want to leave a comment, feel free. And if you want to share this video, then please be my guest. Whatever you choose to do, as always, thanks for watching.